Yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast live. Yes. As you can see, I got my main man G here with me, and you know what we're gonna do. We're gonna drop some knowledge on y'all on the sports tip tonight. But before we get to that, you know what time it is. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio-only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't. All right, G. So you want to move on to topic number 2, NBA Finals Game 1. You know I'm ready to talk about this.
Oh man, yeah.
I try to keep it cool. Try to be objective, be a journalist, and also not get too excited. It's only one game, right? Last time the Celtics were in the finals, they were up 2-0 on Golden State, and then they gave away 4 straight. Literally, I think Jason Tatum set the all-time finals turnover record. So they literally gave away 4 straight. But let's go ahead and talk about it, brother.
Oh, you want me to get started?
Sure, let's do it.
All right.
So, let's do it. We'll throw some highlights on, and while those are playing, I'm just going to ask you, man, what were you thinking when you were watching this game? I think you and I were texting for a little bit while this was on. Why don't you share with the people some of your thoughts on this game?
Well, so it was a heavy coat of shellacking going on. I think 29 points. The Boston Celtics were able to execute their plan. The Dallas Mavericks didn't really show up early on, and I think they brought the game into like 8, but it was just too much. The Porzingis effect. I mean, 9 blocks. I don't know if he had 9 blocks, but as a team, he had 9 blocks, which was crazy.
He had 3.
Yeah. They put up 42 threes. Was able to shoot at 38%. I believe it was 38%. They really brought it to Dallas, as they should at home. First game, a lot of people lost a lot of money. The Kyrie with 12 points, I believe. Yeah, he finished with 12 points. Was crazy.
Correct.
That was crazy. So, like I said, the coach did a great job of minimizing Kyrie and letting Luka do what he do, but in a slow, where it was pretty much 30 garbage points, right? You down 30, down almost 30 the whole game, and then Mr. Brown shows up. He shows up. Mr. Brown shows up.
Yeah, what can Brown do for you, right?
Mr. Brown shows up, man. He's he's always been that versatile two-way guard, and I think he's displaying that on the court now. I think everybody can see it. The world's watching. So
I agree with you on that, man. And so I'm watching it, and I'm thinking a few things, right? So first, I'm like, okay, because my thing is, live by the 3, die by the 3. We've been saying that for years. And the Celtics, as we know, can die by that 3 because they led the league in 3-point attempts and 3-point makes this year. And to me, I'm like, I think they give up too many good shots looking for a 3, right? But, clearly Joe Mazzulla and that staff believes in the analytics. But I'm like, there's a lot of times, leading up to this point all season long, you watching the Celtics and these dudes got a wide open layup, they'll kick it out for a 3. And I'm like, man, stop that. Get the easy bucket. But
man, 42 threes in one game is that's the new basketball now.
That's the new basketball. It's a 3-point shootout. You're 100% right, bro.
Yeah.
And so
I was thinking turn it off. If they didn't bring it back, if they didn't come back and get the game to 8 points, it's turned off and I'm doing something else. It's already a wrap.
Well, I wanted to go to sleep at the half, but I was like, man, the Celtics, they got a tendency to go cold or, to stop doing what they're doing. They got them that lead. And lo and behold, like you said, the Mavs went on that run. They get it to within 8, but credit to Joe Mazzulla. He made the adjustment, right? Last year, as a rookie head coach, he probably would have let that go and maybe gave the game away. He saw that run. They got it to 8. Whoop, timeout.
He he burned like 2 back to back, I think.
Right.
And that was the difference maker there. That's
Yeah.
coaching right there. He did a great job.
But because I think coming out of that timeout, Celtics went on like a 14-2 run to open the game back up again, right?
Yep.
So you're watching Dallas do that, and I'm hearing the great Dick Vitale in my head. Got to get it to yo, baby. Got to get it to yo. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
like, they need to do something. And so credit to Joe Mazzulla at that point. And then you saw the Celtics go ahead and open it back up again. I personally don't like all those threes, but when it works, right?
Yeah.
So, but here's what got me though, and this was, I thought, the shocker. I did not expect this at all. Porzingis, star of the night, right? 20 points, 8 of 13 from the floor, 2 of 4 from 3 blocks. Like, he looked fresh, and I was worried coming into the game. I'm like, is he going to be rusty? Is he going to get tired? I think they did a really good job managing this. Look at that block right there. I think that they did a really good job managing Porzingis's minutes. I was very impressed by that. Loved what I saw there. So he definitely did his thing, man. I was impressed. Look where he's pulling from. He's pulling from 30. But yeah,
the
right.
Unicorn. The unicorn.
That was, remember when he came out, like that was Wemby before Wemby, right? When he first got to New York. Yeah, Melo was like, oh my God, this kid's a unicorn, this, that, and the third. But I guess he was a little before his time, right? Kind of like Darko Milicic, I guess. But
y'all cashed out with that one. They Jason Kidd didn't do a good job preparing for him. I'll say that.
Well, maybe it didn't work with Luka. I don't know if that's Jason Kidd or maybe that's Luka, right? Maybe Luka's one of, because like you look at LeBron, as great a career as he's had, he can't play with a big, right? Yeah. So maybe Luka's a similar thing. Maybe he can't play with a big either. We don't know. It's different. And I think the Celtics offense is much more equal opportunity than the Dallas offense is. Obviously, it's very Luka heavy, and then Kyrie is that second cog. But then you have the other guys who would chip in here and there. But yeah, I was so shocked at what I saw from Porzingis, and I think it's good because like when you have the pick and roll and Gobert is he's the screener, they can play the drop coverage, right? They can play the drop coverage when you're playing against Minnesota with Gobert because he's no threat. But you can't leave Porzingis. He can hit the three, he can hit the mid-range. He's got those skills. He can put it on the floor. You don't have to worry about any of that with Gobert. So it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of defensive adjustments Jason Kidd makes going into game 2 tomorrow night in terms of dealing with Porzingis. But then the other thing I'm thinking, again, they did, like I said, a very good job of managing his minutes. I'm curious to see how his legs, how that calf is going to be feeling coming into game 2, right? For the first time getting real game action for an extended amount of time. So that's, definitely looking forward to seeing that. So doing the prep work for this show, I was doing the research and listening to a variety of different things. And I found some good commentary from Amin Al-Hassan. He used to work for ESPN. Now he's on the DraftKings network. He used to be a front office guy in the NBA, and he had some good comments. So let's go ahead, listen to what he had to say. Then we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and we'll go from there. Check it out.
I don't think anyone expected Kristaps Porzingis to have the night he did. He looked so comfortable out there, and he shot the ball incredibly well. But believe it or not, Gojo, on oddball, I said I think the Celtics win, and they win big in game 1 because of a bunch of factors. Number one, they're at home. Let's just start there. Great home crowd, the best record in the league. So that was already, you're already dealing with a tough opponent. Number 2, the Mavericks haven't played well in game 1s throughout the playoffs. I know they won game 1 against Minnesota, but they lost game 1 against the Clippers. They lost game 1 in the second round as well against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So they already have like a track record of getting off to slow starts. I mean, they've had other game 1 losses in prior playoffs. Number 3, if you look at the Celtics, beyond Tatum and Brown, Horford, even guys like Pritchard, Hauser, Derek White, they played in the finals before. I know it feels like a million years ago, and some of these guys feel young, but they have that experience before. Whereas the Dallas Mavericks, you got Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic is a different animal, different beast. But then all those other guys, the P.J. Washingtons, the Derrick Jones Jr.'s, like their experience quiet isn't there. I know DJ played for the Heat and played in some deep playoff runs, but in terms of making shots and doing what they're expected to do, last night, those guys were all kind of shell-shocked, and that's what happened. They came out, the Celtics came out aggressive, the Mavericks looked like they didn't know where they were, and then you get this big lead in the first half. I had Kristaps Porzingis under on 6.5 rebounds, so, doing it easy for myself right
There
here.
we go.
Thanks, Dad. But specifically, you talk about, is there going to be a slowdown? He had 20 points. 18 of them were in the first half. So he had a great start to the game, and they did a great job of getting him in the flow. A lot of pick and pops, a lot of simple actions. As things progressed and like that hot start ended, he didn't look as great as he did originally. Now, is that cardio? Is that soreness? I don't know. I think if you're the Celtics, you're just happy that he got up and down and didn't feel hurt and didn't limp or anything like that. But the reality is, the Mavericks are going to come back in Game 2 and the rest of the series and say, okay, you got a good leg now? Let's see it. Let's make you have to defend these guys. And that was the thing I was most surprised of. The Mavericks didn't really hunt that matchup as much and as overtly as I thought they would. And I thought that allowed Porzingis to kind of get a rhythm, get out there, feel comfortable. And then once he got rolling, it was pretty hard to stop.
All right, so you heard what Amin Elhassan had to say about that. What were some of your thoughts on that? And before you answer there, G, real quick, if you're in the chat and you haven't already, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. If you're on Instagram, hop on over to YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. Appreciate all that. G, what are your thoughts on what Amin Elhassan had to say about this game in Game 1?
Yeah, he made some really good observations. The rest of Dallas definitely it looked like they choked. It looked like they choked, but I think they did a good job of stopping Porzingis, stopping the bleeding that Porzingis started in the second half versus the first. So that was one good takeaway from Dallas. But yeah, the rest of the players, just the matchup in itself just didn't. I don't think their game plan worked for them. Whatever they was trying, it didn't work. The teams was flat. Kyrie couldn't find a shot. It was just pretty much a Luka show. So I think the coach did a really good job, as I said, executing his plan.
How much of it do you think was, first time in the NBA Finals or big game jitters for some of these guys?
Probably more of it was a punch in the mouth. That's what it was. They went in, they came in, and before they knew it, they was on them, right? Before they can get the legs, the Celtics came in, smooth, steady, poised. They executed their game plan. They looked well coached. They knew it looked like they knew what they were doing. They had a game plan, and that'll do it. They didn't give them a chance to get their legs under them, or they got lost in the lights. So yeah.
That's true. And it's the crazy thing about the way the Celtics were able to operate in Game 1. And again, this is only Game 1. Adjustments will be made. Jason Kidd is way too smart a player and way too smart a coach to just let this continue. So I would be very shocked if, we saw another one like this. But what kind of got me is the Celtics were able to get open threes at will. The Celtics were able to get the mid-range at will. The Celtics were able to get to the basket at will. Like normally you see one of those things, maybe two, but it seemed like they were just clicking for most of the game on all cylinders. And that's unusual at this level of the NBA, talking about being in the finals. Like, man, yes, adjustments will be made, but that's a lot of adjustments to have to make. But talking some more about the Celtics, the question is this: where's Jason Tatum? What's that about? Yeah.
Jason Tatum is doing what Jason Tatum does. He made another quote about Kobe, man. I was like, dude, just let it stop. Like that was I think it was a clip that he had. I think it was on Twitter. He had supposedly a old Kobe jersey on, and they had like the side by side comparison. I don't know if that was fake news or not.
He had on the same shirt that Kobe wore for his Celtics workout before he got drafted. Not the exact same shirt, but the same shirt.
My guy got to stop that. He needs to stop it, man. Kobe don't need to be rolling over in his grave every time he makes the finals. I'm sorry, but yeah, man.
I don't know, man. I'm looking for the breakout game, right? Because even if the Celtics win, but Tatum is not the reason or he's not the guy, now you start asking the question, like, is he that guy, right? Because even when the Celtics won their last championship, 2008, Paul Pierce was clearly the MVP, even though Kevin Garnett was Defensive Player of the Year and Ray Allen was a great contributor. And, of course, Rondo running the show at point. Paul Pierce was clearly the guy. He was the guy they turned to when they needed a bucket. He was the guy who could have those big games. He was the guy who shot it out pretty much bucket for bucket against LeBron James, a young monster LeBron James in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinals that year. I think LeBron had 45, Paul Pierce had 42. So he played him to a standstill, right? And so clearly he was the dude. So now it's like, okay, Tatum, this is supposed to be your team. You're supposed to be the best player on this team. Where are you? Now, I'm sure Tatum is saying, look, all I'm trying to do is win, get that monkey off my back. I don't care about anything else. But, when you're playing for a Pantheon organization like the Boston Celtics, the Celtics, the Lakers, one of these teams, and, you are moving into that level of being one of the better players all time for that organization, you have to step up on these levels right now. That said, if we go all the way back, Larry Bird won 3 championships. He won 3 straight MVPs. In his first final series, he had back-to-back 8-point games, right? Cedric Cornbread Maxwell was the MVP of the 82 finals. Now, I think Larry Bird averaged like 14 rebounds a game in that series. So even though he wasn't shooting well, and this is where the disingenuous part comes in. People always love to point to he had back-to-back 8-point games. But even though he wasn't shooting well, he was contributing, right? It's like, what was Kobe? 6 of 20, 6 of 24 in Game 7 against the Celtics in 2010. Terrible shooting night, 24, 23 points. But guess what? He pulls down 15 rebounds, right? And to me, this is what the all-time great ones do. Of course, we want to look at scoring and those gaudy numbers, but the all-time great ones always find a way to do something to contribute to help their team to win. And so I need more of that from Tatum, no matter what it may be. I need him to dominate in something so that, he can contribute to that winning. And I think, go ahead, my bad.
He finished with a double-double. He had 16, 11, and 5 assists, 42 minutes, 6 for 16 from the field, 3 from 7 from 3.
I think he settles for that 3 too much, bro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's what, 6'11"?
He's 6'9". He's 6'9".
6'9"? Yeah. Okay. 6'9" decoy. Yeah.
But, I mean, he's a very good athlete. He got a pretty good first step. He got a handle. Like, he doesn't need to settle for the 3 all the time. He got to, but I guess it's just not his mentality to be that attacking, killer type player. That's just not him. But so you mentioned earlier Jaylen Brown. What did you see from him that you liked, and where can he improve, or does he need to improve throughout the rest of this series?
Well, he picked Luka up Luka finished with 30, and they threw a bunch of good looks at him. But I think when you look at when they needed a bucket, that when the momentum was switching, Mr. Brown was right there. Yes, he was right there with either a dunk or 3 or something. Yeah, so his clutch gene was turned all the way up that game, and I don't think they win with him without him in that lineup. He doesn't win.
I think he wants it bad, and he wants to show that he's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's my bad.
No, but
no, I was about to say let's flip over to the Mavericks. I know I've been giving the Celtics a lot of love. Obviously, anybody who knows me knows I'm a Celtics fan for freaking 30 plus years now. So, but we could talk about the Mavericks a little bit. On the other side, like you've been mentioning, Luka got his. He had 30, but they were, what did Shannon like to say? Empty calories.
Yeah.
So, but he definitely needed the help. And so here's the crazy part, right? Kyrie Irving, 6 for 19 for 12 points. I think you mentioned that earlier. That's wild.
Yeah.
So Kyrie, this is a wild stat I saw. Oh, first wild stat. Celtics had 9 blocks as a team. The Dallas Mavericks had 9 assists in game 1. I've never seen a stat like that before. I was like, whoa, that's okay. That's bugged out. You have one team have as many blocks as another team has assists. That's crazy.
Yeah. I think that was definitely a difference maker too. They was able to spread the ball around and knock down shots. I mean, anytime you can do that and you get your bench involved, It's
Yeah,
gonna be
man.
hard. They're gonna be hard to beat, man. Like
Yeah.
if Dallas doesn't get their stuff together, man, they gonna be going home now. Luka showed up, like you said. He shows up. I think Kyrie gets it going. I really do, but I can't.
Yeah, I
I
think
can't
so too.
look at their squad and say who's gonna be that third player to step up. I don't. I can't say that. Where I really don't know who's gonna step up because matchups may not allow it. Right.
So what I got to say about that is, and I actually have this in my notes, I believe Tim Hardaway Jr. needs more minutes, bro. Because
Oh,
that is a guy, I think that's the other streaky offensive player on that team who can get hot and provide you some scoring when you need it. And I'm not sure if he doesn't defend or what, but Jason Kidd has had him for most of the playoffs. He hasn't gotten a lot of minutes. I'm not sure if there's been some injury. I should have looked into that, but I'm not sure if there's been some injury or if he just doesn't want to defend or what it is. But he hasn't gotten many minutes. But Jason Kidd, if Kyrie has another bad game, he needs to look down that bench and figure out who can I get in here to give Lucas some help.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 8 minutes ain't gonna cut it. I mean,
No,
that's
it's not.
yeah.
So check this out. You know Kyrie is 0-11 in his last 11 games versus the Celtics.
Yeah, I can see that.
Something's going on there. Something's going on there. Like, what is that about?
I saw that. I saw that pop up. That stat pop up, but I never
Mhm.
really paid any attention. I was like, it's game one. You
Right.
know, it's game one. Like the game three is going to be the deciding factor. If they win if they win one at home, if they win one in Dallas, then yeah, it's going to be time to panic if you're a Maverick fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
Celtics win
absolutely.
one in Dallas, it's time to panic.
Mhm.
But let's see if they close it out. I mean, next game it may be totally different. They look like they wasn't prepared. They didn't look prepared. It looked like Jason Kidd didn't prepare them, or they wasn't expecting Porzingis to go off. Because if you look at
I
like the
think that's
box
what it
score,
is.
yeah, you look at the box scores. I mean, they didn't really have like anybody on their team to pump 30, or even have the only player that had a double double in the box scores was Tatum. Everybody
Mhm.
else was,
Right.
close, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it was real good balanced scoring from the Celtics. So let me ask you this, right? As someone who's played a lot of ball, um, you ever had a situation where maybe you have a tough stretch against a particular opponent? Does that create a mental barrier? Like, how hard is something like that to get over?
it's game one. I can't really say that there's any mental barriers. These I can't really everything is like mental, right? Like so, it's not what the other team is doing to you. It's pretty much it's all on you. Like, oh yeah, I'm not hitting my shots. All right, I need to go in the lab and shoot my way out of this slump that I'm in.
Mhm.
If you're not getting to your positions on the basketball court, that's all on you. That's not.
Mhm.
It's a team sport, but it's also individual. Like these guys in Dallas didn't have any help from their bench and or like their game plan when they came out. They looked flat. They wasn't hitting down the shots. They did go on a run and bring the game within 8 points. Uh, when they looked to the bigs to like carry them, they wasn't there. It just wasn't home. So
Mhm.
you got missing layups, missing open shots. That'll never get it done. But I guess to answer your question is when it comes to you playing, I think it all depends on how you look and how you prepare for the game. These guys didn't look like they was prepared. It looked like they was actually partying before the game, and maybe partying a little bit too much, right?
Oh,
And so I think that's pretty much they just wasn't focused. They just didn't look focused. They look outmatched, honestly. But it's game one, right? It's
yeah,
the
yeah.
NBA Finals. It's game one.
Mhm. Well, when I was talking about the mental barrier, I think I was more specifically referring to Kyrie and his 0 for the last 11 against the Celtics. Like, and that's against the organization, period, because it's not just 11 straight in Boston. But I'm wondering, like, did that kind of get in his head a little bit because he is an incredible player, and like going into this finals, we've been hearing everybody giving Kyrie his flowers and saying, well, this is the best offensive backcourt of all time and they can do this and do that. And then you got LeBron saying, well, this is the most skilled player or the most gifted player in the history of the NBA, which I thought that was a little slick shot at Michael Jordan, but we ain't even gonna go there. But so you're hearing all of this, and then obviously, like we said, Kyrie is on a skid against the Celtics. So does all of that kind of get in your head and mess with you?
Uncle Drew? Nah, I doubt it. I got Uncle Drew showing up next game. He just couldn't knock down the three. I mean, his mid range was there. He did. But he got he got bigs in the lane. Like they clogged the lane with 9 blocks, and those 9 blocks probably put up a mental barrier in itself for the entire team, right?
Yeah.
They throwing a block party down there, and so I don't think they want any parts of it. And then it all depends on how the ref call it as well. You know?
Of course. And I'll tell you what, if there's another blowout and the Mavs go down 0-2, you're gonna see a change in the whistle when they get to Dallas. Shout out Man Down Sports. You will definitely see a change in the way this game gets officiated. Luka's probably gonna go to the free throw line
30
about
times.
25. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see some things because obviously no league wants a sweep in the NBA.
I wonder when was the last team they got swept. I know it's crazy we talking about this right now, but I wonder what team got swept in the finals. Last team they got swept.
Cleveland. Oof. Cleveland against Golden State when KD was there. I think that was it.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I gotta find that.
Yeah, that Golden State team was. Whew. Yeah, ask ChatGPT. They'll tell you.
You know.
All right, team. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to open up the phone lines, 904-219-8264, 904-219-8264. Give us your thoughts on game 1 of this. Brooklyn Raise Me. I see you in the chat. Instagram, Drew. Give us a shout. Let's hear what you got. Let's hear your thoughts on it. I know you are 1,000% anti-Celtic, so I definitely would love to hear your thoughts on this. Ka, I see you in there too. But yeah, go ahead, give us a call. Let's hear what you got to say, especially the Mavericks fans, in terms of what adjustments you think needs to be made, what adjustments you think can be made, who's going to be able to step up and give Luka some help, because we know Kyrie is eventually going to bust out of the slump. So yeah, phone lines open, 904-219-8264. Give us a call. Let's hear what you got.